Hey guys, can you hear me? Zoom just did some weird thing on me. Let me know if you can hear me or not. Hey guys, can you hear me? Zoom just did some weird thing on me. Okay, yes, got it. So, okay, let's get started talking about Genius business codes because they are fucking powerful and potent, like you wouldn't believe it. So Genius business codes are the key to mystical money. So if I were to ask you, would you rather make money the normal way or do you want to make it the mystical way? Which one would you want? The magical way. Magical money is what we're after. So Genius is definitely the way to go if you want to make money the magical way instead of the normal way. So I was thinking back in preparation for this live stream, when did I first hear about Genius? And this is actually probably like 3 years ago. And I remember the first time I heard that such a thing as a genius even existed, and how like the power and potency of what a genius was. I remember it's like, I want that so much. And it kind of became, I mean, yeah, somehow I just knew that that was the answer, right? Because up until then, I've done like all, try to make money the normal way, and my success rate wasn't very good. But I just kind of knew from the first time I heard about the genius and how it shows up in business that was the key to a lot of money. And on top of that, there was the part, yes, a lot of money is totally awesome. I want that. But there was something really alluring and intriguing and enticing about, the genius, because this was something more, like it was like rich and lush and luxuriant, in a way, like just how it felt when it was being talked about, that there was just something in like the codes that was in part of it when it was being talked about, that just really landed in my body, and I just knew this is what I wanted. So 3 years ago, and here we are today. So one of the things that I have often brought up was, like, until I came around Genius business, I felt it for probably a couple of years, like way back in 2016, like there was something inside of me, something really big that wanted to come out. And it created this inner pressure. And I tried several different business coaches to help me bring it out, but it never happened. It wasn't really until I started. Submission wasn't really part of the language at that time, but kind of pursuing, the genius. And as I was like just, doing what I had to do, working on my shadows, etc., it's like it became very clear that that was the thing that I had been feeling that was calling to me. And that it's like this big thing inside of me that I just knew I was meant to bring out into the world. And this brings me to the first time I want to talk about, which got affirmed, not that it needs, affirmation or be confirmed, by a couple of people who have contacted me about the Genius Business Activation session. It's like, I'm not sure I'm doing the right things. It's like, I feel there's more to it, but I'm not really sure if I should be doing this or that. And, I was there, I have been like changing businesses every 3, 4, 5 years, you know, my Facebook memories today just showed me, it was like back in 2012, 9 years ago, I launched a raw food school, like raw food, right? It's like I've tried so many different things, and I was always, is it the right, is it, you know, is this it? And it was never quite it, right? It's like that's the thing. It's like we can come close, but it's never quite it. So when I have been doing Genius Business Activation sessions, the one thing that really makes me not understand, but maybe like really impresses on me how magical it is, how people can feel that whatever I tell them, that the you know, whatever comes through about their genius, and you know how it shows up in their genius business, is like how true it is. I mean, there's a truth to it that goes way beyond anything your mind can ever conceive of. And it's a truth that's recognized on a level that is not your mind and it's not your ego. It's recognized by your body. So I have seen people burst into tears. I've had people just like kind of sit up very straight and instantly flip into the full power. Hi, Meryl. I have seen people like just get full body shivers. I've seen people become absolutely silent because the truth of it hits them so hard. So, and even people have said, oh my God, this is like coming home, Gitte, and I didn't even really, you know, I didn't even know this was my home. So I have never had one single session where there hasn't been some kind of recognition of the bone deep truth of what comes through about the genius. And I say bone deep for a reason, right? Because genius is coded in your bones, but those codes are dormant until they get activated. So, you know, people get into a spiritual business because they believe that what they have to offer is valuable to the world, and they want to have an impact and make a lot of money doing it. And, you know, it's like just thinking back to when I started, you know, this was what was driving me. I really wanted to have an impact, but it was also for myself because this was what I cared about doing. This was what I loved doing. And it went through so many different permutations. You know, Raw Food School is just one of the more extreme permutations of it. But there was always this sense of, it is not quite it. It is not quite it. And it wasn't really until I really began to, you know, with my mentor, Sonika and Naveed, you know, which most of you know, when I really started working with them and really digging into it, that I realized what my genius is. And I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's I can't even say it's an energy that's coming out of my bones, but there's something that when I'm in my genius, I know this is it. And it doesn't really matter which form it takes. I just know this is it. And you have seen me talking about dragons, you have seen me talking about mystical earth, and you have seen me talking about genius business. It's like these seems to be 3 completely different things, and yet they're all equal expressions of my genius. So, you know, genius has many different facets, and this is part of why I love the mystery of genius, because what else is there that I haven't discovered yet? So when you activate and unlock your genius codes, you also activate and unlock an unbelievable power. And this is something that I am actually just really seen lately. I did my first Genius Business Activations way back 2 years ago in the fall of 2019. And it's like looking back to those people who have really made it matter. It's like how the power of their Genius and Genius Business Codes has created, like almost like crafted the path for them. It's like almost your Genius Business Codes is rolling out, you know, a red carpet for you. It's like creating that path to where your genius business can really become everything it's meant to be. And I want to tell you, with every single Genius Business Activation session I have ever done, even way back to the very first one, it's Genius doesn't play small. In no way does it care about being small. It wants big, it wants bold, it wants beautiful, it wants a ton of money, it wants a ton of impact. And it's all coded with magic. So every single part of, you know, the Genius business that I see once I look down into the, you know, look down the timeline of people's Genius business when I'm in a session, it's like every single step of it, even if I can't, you know, see every single step, it's like this laying out the red carpet so that your next step is always there and all you have to do is follow it. You know, it's like follow it, even if it makes no logical sense to your human, you just follow it and follow it and follow it. And I know some of you have read Loren's testimonial, and this is what Loren did. You know, it's like she just followed it and followed it and followed it and followed it. And when I look back at where she was a year ago, you guys wouldn't believe it. And she was just, you know, telling me yesterday that now she's working on a fourth contract, which is another big multi-million-dollar company. And it was nothing she could ever have imagined. And it's like how that has unfolded. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Hello, Donna. Hello, Vella. And this is what I've seen for me also. It's like I would never have imagined that I would be here right where I am right now, that Sonika picks out the images from my post. It's like, that is the coolest thing ever. I can't tell you that I don't have to spend time for picking my images. It's like, that's such a magical experience for me, because here's the thing about the Genius business is it's not about how my Genius business is. It's not about Wild Dynasty Genius business. It's not about this. It's not about this. The thing is that the Genius business, the Genius business codes, or even just the Genius codes, it's like they are so supremely unique to you. There might be similarities because, you know, 3D world, et cetera, but the way those Genius codes and your Genius business codes gets crafted, it's like this molding of the magic, like sculpting of the magic into something that is an exquisite work of art. It's like, and the art is the purest expression of the purest you. So, where was I going with this? It's like, and this is something I have just seen in hindsight, you know, it's like now that it has been like a couple of years since I have been doing the first Genius business activations, is how that when you really make your Genius business matter, even if you have no idea how to go about it, when you make it matter and just follow it and follow it and follow it, the place you're going to be It's a place that's absolutely something you could never, ever have imagined. So this power that is inherent in your genius and your genius business codes, that power translates directly to, oh my God, how do I say this? It translates directly into how you work with people, you know, or how you work with companies. It's like you don't coach them anymore. It's like you code upgrade them, because once the words you've spoken is, you know, are coming from your genius, and genius provides the words. You know, genius always provides the words that you need to speak. It's like this part of the submission. You always know the right thing to say at the right time. It's not just the words, right? It's like there's a whole different level of power. I'm just thinking of a word to describe it. It's like the difference between words are just like a whisper, and when it's like words spoken from genius or even the genius business code, it's like the roar of a mighty dragon that's heard around the world. And this is still a different way that genius business codes are, you know, like a portal to mystical money, because, you know, people's business, you know, if you think about people's business and marketing, marketing is about telling the world what you're doing so that you can get somebody to buy from you. Because of all, you know, all kind of shadows and content and beliefs and whatnot, these marketing, just the energy of you know, marketing will have a lot of static around it. So it's not a pure signal. So, you know, think of a radio, right? If the signal is very staticky, it's kind of hard to hear. Any of you guys that old that you remember this, you know, like a dial on a radio, that you can't even hear the words, you know, if the signal is too staticky. Whereas, you know, coming into your genius, because it's coming straight from your bones, you know, it is not polluted by anything, you know, it's going on in your mind and your feelings or whatever that's happening around you. It's like pure and straight from your bones. And there's no static on the signal, meaning that it's really, really easy for people to hear your signal. Isn't that so cool? And not only that, right? It's like the contrast again, it's like a non-genius business. It's like you might have energy in your words, you might have, you know, like great words, you might have less static than you had earlier in your, you know, your beginning of your business. You might have less static than other people. The words have energy, but they don't have the power to activate, like to disrupt and activate. This is what we're looking at, right? Like genius is here to change the consciousness of the planet. But how that is done is through this like glorious business that your genius wants to be made into. So genius is static free, and that already makes it shine and stand out because its signals can be heard. And because there's no static, with the addition of the power of the genius codes, it's activating, right? It's like, you know, it's like, you know, when you read a post, it's like, yeah, these words are very interesting. You know, some of mine have been like that. And you read other words and you go, whoa, you know, it's like you can feel them do something to your body. And this is when you are marketing from genius, which is completely different. And I'm not saying, and take this in, like marketing does not have to be done with Facebook posts. Like take Lauren, she is basically not doing any marketing anymore. She's talking with people, right? That's her marketing, networking, and not even networking. It's like people just show up. you know, people she know from the past, and, you know, she has connections. It's like, that's where it's going. So marketing, even if I'm, you know, this is Facebook, you know, we write Facebook posts, but if it's not your genius to show up on Facebook, showing up on Facebook anyway would absolutely begin to create static on your signal, you know, because it wouldn't be coming from genius when genius has no Facebook. So the other part about, you know, the voice of genius, that's the power of genius. It's like a static free, it is pure signal, it activates, but it's also louder. You know, it's like I can't even say how it's louder, because it's not just, well, there's more energy, but there's something about how it, you know, it becomes like a beacon. You know, it's like a tower, a lighthouse, like a beacon of the beacon of a truth or truth. It's not a truth, it's truth that your ideal clients wants, that they're activated by, that's the truth as it's coming to you and your genius, because genius is always absolute truth, is, you know, it's really gonna, you know, disrupt the whole thing and activate them so that they find you. And this is why it's mystical money, right? It's like, because people find you. It's not that you go out and find them. The way when you're normally, you know, making money, it's like, where are my leads? Where are my clients? How am I going to get a sale? It's like all about da, 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 da. Whereas with your genius, all you do is like you sink into your bones, you know, because what the genius is, you got to live from your bones. And then everything that comes out from your bones is like massively, massively, massively activating into sales and into, you know, what we all want. It's easy to make a lot of money. So this is the power in, you know, the genius business codes, just in that particular aspect. So the other thing that makes it really magical and mystical is like how little time it takes, how little time it actually takes to make money when you're coming from genius, because genius is in the dark. It is separated from time. There is no time. So when there's no time, everything in now. And that means like, rather than looking at somewhere in the future, I'm going to make these sales, it's like you just fold it into here now, because there is no timeline. There is just now. And this is where all the sales happen. And it's like this, another way of thinking of it, it's like, rather than trudging along this timeline of, okay, I got to do this to make sales, I got to do this to make sales, I got to do this to make sales, I got to do this to make sales. It is almost like you jump from here to there, you know, like skipping all the time on the timeline and just like stepping to, you know, like a magical door into, oh, here's where I began, here's all the sales. So it kind of like collapses time, right? Rather than taking this long, it takes this long. I mean, there's still 3D time, but, you know, beyond that, it's like boom. And I'm really rushing here. You guys have any questions? Just put them down here. So when you are doing your, I just get my rings hooked into each other. When you're doing your genius business, there's another very beautiful thing that happens, which is how it's like you shift your attention from results. Some of you have heard it here. It's like, and yeah, you can, see, people are, noticing in this, but there is something about it that doing Genius is all about what you want. It's like what matters to you. And you hear the words, right? It's like these are not words that are new to most of us. It's like most of us has heard it, what matters. But when you really live this, it's really, it's like you take your business like all the way into your body. And it's like it is being created inside your body. It's being created inside of you. I don't even know if it's going to make a difference. But my Genius business is my body. It's not my thoughts. It's not out here. It is my body. My body is my Genius business, because this is where my Genius business coach is. And this is where, if I leave my body, when I've got up into my head, which would be shadow or content, I'm not living from my bones. This is like come in and live from your bones. This is where Genius is. So let me see what I wanted to say more. The other thing is that some of you might already know that time is money on the light grid. This is the whole timeline that I talked about. Is like the more time you put into something, the more money it creates. And this is the normal way of making money. Spend the time doing the work and then you'll get the money results. That's not magical. It's not mystical. It's like money is magic, right? That's what we want. And once you activate your Genius codes, they okay, I have to think about how to phrase this, because Genius codes in themselves are not magic codes. It's different. But they, I don't know if they're actually being shape-shifted. Yeah, they're probably being shape-shifted into magic codes, and magic codes are money codes. So the thing about being in your Genius, coming from your bones, doing business with your Genius business codes, is that automatically, because you don't have to be conscious about this, is like those Genius business codes, they will shape shift into magic codes, which are exactly the same as the money codes. So making money in the dark, with your Genius business becomes absolutely magical. So back in the spring, I hit like a 72K month, and I did nothing, right? It was like I actually did nothing. It's like these sales were all people who came to me. I didn't do marketing. I can't remember what was going on, but I barely did any marketing at that time. And still, those money found me because I was in my Genius, even if I wasn't marketing a lot. I was like rooted in my bones. And even if it wasn't coming out as words on the page, or if I was doing, like live streams, it's like just being in your Genius and living from your bones after you have those codes activated. It's Genius shifts into magic, which is the same as money. So money shows up out of the blue. It's like the money finds you, rather than you have to go out and make money. I have to find out where I can find the money, where am I going to make the money? Where is the money going to come from? I have been poor enough that I know how this works. And there is an ease, because I don't have to do anything, right? It's like I can take actions, but on another, it's like, yes, I take the actions. On another level, I do absolutely nothing. I do nothing. to create those results. Monique, I can't remember. I think at that time I was just really, really, really holding still. Because that's where, that was what the Genius Command was at that time. And, now I'm at the point where Genius is really flipping into being animated. Again, it's we were kind of the first doing it, so we were finding it out as we were going along, and now it's different. You guys have the final result of our process, or our discovery and our exploration, so that you can just do it much faster. So if I remember correctly, no, at that time I was just actually holding still. And even when you're animating, you are also animating, Mo, is bringing your genius to life, like big time to life. It's, let me see if I can say it. It's like genius is in and of itself. It just is, and it will bring you money because you're in the still. It's potent. The genius codes are magic. But remember what I said? Genius business. Genius wants to be big. It wants to be, created into this like magnificent work of art that is a pure expression of you and your genius and your power and the exact kind of magic you can do for people. And that takes the animation, because just holding still, yes, you will bring money in, because you are not in shadow, so money will show up. And yet genius says more. So the last thing here I wanted to say is that genius business activation, when, this might be the last thing, when I'm doing a reading for people, how is genius different to aligning with your broader energetic self? I can't see the distinction. Aligning with your broader energetic self is what you can do now. Your genius codes are dormant until they get activated. So your energetic self, it is created by a constant play between you and the surrounding. This is how, the light energy body works, is the chakras, right? It's like there's always a constant interaction, energetic interaction going on with the rest of the world, with the environment around you. And certainly you can minimize the influence from the outside, but there's always going to be some interaction. And because of that interaction, there is always, you're never going to be able to dial into high power. The energetic self, let me see, it's like I have to say it in a different way. It's like, even if you minimize the interaction, the energetic exchange, so that you are very energetically pure, there is a limit to what is accessible, with where you're at with your light energy body. And you will still have the time equals money part. It's like you spend the time, It's like there is like not the true magic of collapsing time. So the genius, on the other hand, exists outside the light energy body. It exists in the dark energy body, in the bones. And when you're in the light energy body, you can't access those codes. They're just not available from the light energy body, which is how it is different. And in the Genius Business Activation is included a dark body activation, so that you get your dark energy body online, which can truly host these codes, because they are really, really powerful. You know, it's like I told you before, they are extremely powerful, and they need a very, 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 they need an energy body that can host that. So we are covering all the bases, because one of the sad things I've seen while I have been doing all these Genius Business Activation readings, you know, from 2 years ago, it's people feel it in the body, and then somehow it loses its power because it's not really anchored solidly into the body, which is where it is being created. So, hi, Sonika. Can the Genius codes only be activated by another person? No, but it's definitely a shortcut. So just, you know, working on going dark, submitting to Genius and all these things, absolutely, eventually it'll get you there. Getting a Genius Business Activation is absolutely going to save you a ton of times, and it's going to jumpstart you right away. So one person I did this for, which was Eva. She is like at the end of a Genius Business Activation, you know, I always go into, it's like, what's the next step for you to developing your Genius business? And we crafted an offer for her, and she just went out and sold it, and she made like 30,000 in like within 3 weeks after the session. So alignment, Sonika says, alignment is matching energy with a vision, another already created energetic blueprint. Genius codes aren't matched, but activated. It is something that doesn't exist yet, blueprint-wise. Yes, exactly. So, I know there's something else. Hold on for a second. Yeah, so, you know, seeing how where people have truly made their genius matter, which is where it begins, and how having these codes activated in them, it's like how genius kind of like just, I don't know, it's like as I said before, it's like creates the path, you know, rolls out the red carpet to where the Genius business can become what it always wanted to become. And one of these people is Ash, you know, the CEO of Wild Dynasty, and she has the Diamond Matrix mastermind going on right now. She was one of the very first people I did the Genius Business Activation on. And it was an interesting experience. You know, I'm going to write up the story also, but it was an interesting experience. And then she goes and do something completely different. And I'm like, okay, I watched, you know, I'm not going to say anything, you know, I'm just going to watch what she's doing. And now, you know, here, then she came back around, you know, and she came into working with a business and with her genius. And what Sonika told me was exactly how Ash was kind of like creating herself into her genius. Like she was bringing in the different pieces so that she was able to live more and more in her genius, which is, as you know, she is a genius at operations. It's like absolutely genius. And now she's not only the COO of the Wild Dynasty, but also of Meta Mystique. It's like, I'm in awe of how she can do it. And so the point here is like when I did this Genius Business Activation for Ash 2 years ago, this didn't even exist on our radar, you know. Wild Dynasty didn't even exist, you know. Meta Mystique didn't even exist. Like Sonika had barely gone dark at that time. It was like, 2 months after you did, 2 months after you did the Spiritual Empire Academy, when I did Ash's sessions. It's like none of us could have foreseen that, but when we look back, it's just so easy to see how having her Genius Business Codes activated is like crafted, crafted the opportunities, brings the opportunities to you, and yeah, like rolls out the red carpet. And the same thing with Loren. It's when I first started out coaching her. Yeah, Sonika is saying Ashjot has a biggest month last month at 21K cash. It's like so freaking awesome. She needed to find that genius environment, and once she submitted, it was game over. Yeah. And I have been following this, Sonika, right? It's like I've been around, seeing this, and it has really, seen how she has. Remember, I was channeling this thing for Naveed. I was channeling Naveed's genius at one point, and Ash snuck into this. And what I saw for Ash was that, it's like you were in the tower, and Naveed was on the, on top of the tower. Ash was the tower. It's like she was a tower. She was like the edifice, like the structure, like very, very solid, very, very strong of the Wild Dynasty business, so that you and, Naveed could do the business. And then I saw that she's building towers for other people too, which she's now doing for me. And she needed to come in, just submit and following her genius letter. And Loren's thing is very, very different. Like how she ended up as a global resort stylist now was because this huge resort had sent an email to all the stylists in the town where she lives, and Loren was the only one who bothered answering. Oh my God, a radio tower. Oh, I have total chills reading this, Sonika. Oh my God. Like I have chills all over. Yes. Yes, wow. So, Ash builds radio towers. Now she can build one for you too. So the Genius Business Activation. It's, as I said before, you'll get on a call with me and I will channel a ton of specifics about your genius, because it has to start with your genius. What is the magic? What is the flavor? What is the tone? What is... These things are very hard to find words for. It's like your genius is we use the word myth, right? But it's a tale or myth or a story of its own. And it's a world of its own. And in that world, it's like almost like we need to get you to, land on the world of your genius, so that we can know, it's like, what is the magic of this particular world? And it has visuals, it has tones, like Naveed could put it into music, which is freaking awesome. But there is like something very, very unique about this world, which is your brand of magic, which is how your genius comes to you and how it then shapeshifts into the magic that you put into the world, that you put into your clients. And from there, we will then go in and it's like, so how is that going to show up in your business? What is your business going to look like? Who are you doing it for? And what is the business architecture? I might not build the radio tower, but I'll begin to build like a structure of your genius business. And it just, you might be able to get there in 5 years if you can do it, in way shorter time. It's like I'm just looking at this timeline. It's like especially Loren is mind blowing. It's like from 1 year where she couldn't even make ends meet in her business to now she has like several multi-million-dollar clients. I was like, sure. if that's what you want. If genius matters to you, if genius and genius business matters to you, you got to do this. It's screwing yourself over otherwise. So yes, so the Genius Business Activation, you get a session with me, live call, our channel, we will talk about it, and then you get the remote dark code activation so that you can actually solidify and anchor and host these genius business codes in your body so that it becomes your real life instead of just awesome words you have heard me speak. Okay, you can let me know if you want it. And I think this is it.